Hello and welcome back, my friends. Well, it's been a little while since I've last uploaded, and I missed you guys. But I'm back, and we're going to be continually hitting up this channel with some fresh new content going into the 2023 season. I hope you guys stick around. If you've stuck with me this long, then I don't see why you wouldn't. We're year 11 in this backyard food forest project, and it's only going to get better and better. Now today, we've got a beautiful, crisp fall day. It's blue skies, the sun's out. Fall is one of my favorite seasons to get out into the garden. There's some room for planting and a lot of cleanup, a lot of pruning, and designing of the garden happens in the fall for me. So if you've got weather that's permitting you to get out into the garden, I suggest you go do that and make some headway. Get ready for next year. It's not too early to be thinking about that. So October is what? Garlic planting month. This is the time you want to get out and get those garlic cloves in the ground. Even if you've got colder weather, what's going to end up happening, you're going to give yourself about a month, month and a half of growth. Those roots are going to begin to grow into the soil, and even if the greens start to sprout and then die back, it's going to have a jump start on the following season. So get your garlic in the ground in October. Now for the last many years, the wife and I have simply purchased garlic at our local grocer and planted that in the garden. It's cheap, it's effective, it works beautifully. As long as you're not getting garlic that's been imported from out of the country where it has a chance of being irradiated or treated chemically, the garlic's going to grow just fine for you. Pennies on the dollar, really. So I sort through the garlic bins and I try to pick out the largest garlic bulbs that are there, because the larger the clove, the larger the bulb you'll be able to grow. Now I know for most of you, you're on it. You probably already got your garlic in the ground. Awesome job. But for those of you who are new to the channel, perhaps new to gardening, I'm going to do a really quick breakdown and show you how easy it is to plant garlic. It takes a matter of minutes and you're set. So the first thing you want to do is locate a good area in your garden which gets at least 6 hours of sun a day. And if you can plant it in an area that has some loose, well-draining soil, especially if it's got a bit of nutrition in there, that's going to serve you best. But garlic is pretty easy to grow. It'll grow just about anywhere, so do the best you can. Here I've got a hugelkultur mound, and I'm going to put some garlic right here towards the end of the bed. So we're just going to loosen things up real quick. I'm using my Hori Hori Dig Dig tool. Makes quick work of the task here. And we'll just pull off that paper and look at these beautiful cloves. Nice large cloves. We're going to be planting these pointy side up. And what I like to do is plant little patches of garlic here, there, and everywhere throughout my garden. Not only does that increase my success, because if I have a particular patch that, let's say, my chicken goes rooting around in that area, pulls up the cloves, it can happen, right? Well, I've got another patch over here that she probably missed, so I like to spread it out. But other than that, garlic and onion as well is actually a natural, organic way to help to control some of the pests in your garden. So simply just having a little bit of garlic growing in and around some of your other plants that may have a tendency to get attacked by pests, this is going to help to protect them from any insect damage. So plant some garlic as a way to control the pests. As long as we're over here, I'll show you this one lonely patula or Luffa gourd growing off of our trellis here. We've already harvested a couple smaller ones. We like to get them when they're about 6-7 inches to eat them. At this point, we're going to let this one fully mature for seed, and then we're going to be left with a bat sponge. You've probably seen those natural looking sponges known as Luffa gourds that you can actually purchase. They're so easy to grow as well. Now there's something else I want to share with you guys, an update. So about a year ago, I came to this edge of my raised bed garden. I prepared the soil, and I planted out some of my Dan's Perennial tree collard and tree kale seed. Now, it was just a couple weeks after that, I had noticed that the soil had been quite disturbed. It looked like either my chicken or maybe some wild birds had come into the patch. And I was thinking, well, maybe I lost those seeds. Well, I was wrong. We've got a nice abundant patch of greens growing here just 1 year later. And this is with nearly no maintenance whatsoever. No fertilizer. I probably watered this patch 3 times in the last year once I noticed that they were growing up. And just look how abundant these plants are becoming. So we've got quite a few different winners here, some of them more abundant than others, some of them still trying to poke up in the mix here. But like, check out the stalk on this one back over here. You've got all these new little shoots beginning to develop. These are going to pop out branches, and this one here is going to be a monster for sure. Looks like this one is also going to grow nice and tall. And there's a slight variance to each one of these plants. This one resembles more of a dino kale to me, and this one has more of a almost red Russian kale look to it. But I love this. Every fall, heading into winter, the greens begin to explode with new growth. They become sweeter, tastier, and we eat as much of this as we can, build up our immunity, get nice and healthy, clean ourselves out for the new year upcoming. Here's another beautiful tall specimen. I actually staked this one up just so that we can get a full view here. And this one is taking off real nice. This is a volunteer plant. One of the mother plants in the area dropped a seed and it grew. And you can see it's not just us that enjoys this plant, but the lower leaves are being nibbled on by, you guessed it, Matilda Jean. For those of you unaware, Matilda Jean is my backyard chicken, my garden buddy. Helps me to prepare my beds and also thin out my plants. Here we've got several other volunteer perennial greens from the same seeds that I offer to you guys now and then. And these are coming along nicely as well. We've got an entire forest of greens over in this area. Here's a 6-foot tall, mostly purple tree collared variety here. For this to be this tall at this point in the year, I'm expecting big things for this plant as we head into next year. This little random patch back here came about as when I chopped back some of the older plants, there were still some remaining seeds in the pods, and I just kind of dropped them back here, mulching in this area. And now look what we've got, guys. An abundance of food on demand. Is that not gorgeous? This plant is flushing out a tremendous amount of new growth. The leaves are still smaller, but we've got so many new cutting tips here. Literally probably 3 dozen, 4 dozen cuttings can be taken off this bushy plant here. This is actually a cutting that I grew from the original Merit tree collard plant. So anyway, guys, I'm going to continue doing some cleanup out here, getting things organized, prepared, and enjoying every minute of it, because a day spent in the garden, preparing your land, growing food, connecting with nature, is a day well spent, and it's a day to be thankful for because it's a blessing. So if you got the space and you got the time, weather permitting, get outside and do some work in your garden today. You'll be happy you did. Until next time, my friends, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.